Washington State is.
How much are those toothbrushes? Oh.
Hello everybody, I'm back on my computer making computer art. I think I was doing this on this stream a couple weeks ago. Seems like. Hard for me to keep track of things. But basically, to reacquaint everyone, I am building this structure. Let's see. Where did I? There we go. And this is. Oh, can't zoom into that anymore. Anyway, this is for a Kickstarter for 3D printed Wargaming terrain things, and helping out the creator by finishing off this beautiful watermill. And those are all my links if you want to check out my other stuff. One of the trickiest challenges that I've been running into with this is the, figuring out how to do a million tiles for one. Pretty much have that figured out. But then how to like finish off these edges so they don't look all dumb and weird like that. That's trickier. I've been using this sort of ceramic roof peak tile thing, which, I've got reference for. But actually getting it to line up, like cover the things it needs to cover, the awkward seams that it needs to cover, without like cutting through other things in a weird way, that's been tricky. Turn off some of these things to get a little better performance here. So to that end, I'm trying to get the sort of structure that is ostensibly supporting these tiles in place so that I can see exactly where the my little capper pieces need to land. One thing that I've learned in many years of video game environment design is that you can cover a multitude of sins by shoving a bunch of stuff together and overlapping it in just the right way. So that's kind of what I'm figuring out here. How do I hide my sins? The sin being not actually building this from individual little pieces and nailing them together the way it happens in real life. So, taking a lot of shortcuts. How do I hide the fact that all these shortcuts happened? So it was mostly I was able to figure out a way to do them. It's kind of halfway between hand placed and procedural. I ended up making 6 variations of the shingle, and then I made a simple version, just a low poly version of the roof, and I hand selected about, you know, 1/6 of those faces and said, okay, put this kind of shingle on these faces. And then I hand selected another 6 and so on and so forth. And then I had to do that twice for each half of the roof because in order to get them to overlap well, it was really difficult to do in one go. And then plus, if there were every other row, I can go in and add all this additional little detail to help break it up and differentiate them even more. So yeah, it is somewhere in between. Not as efficient as I would like, but better than literally hand placing every single one. Thanks, Sweet Fast. Yeah, it is a bit finicky. See, so I could do another duplicate of this wood and push it in to get like the under thing of there, but I'm thinking what I could also do is sort of, because it's way under the eave, you're gonna really have to like either pick this thing up and look at it to see under there, or like be at a really low angle. So I'm not too worried about getting these details perfect, but I at least need to fill in any gap between the roof and this peak here. And I'm thinking also having those like horizontal slats that those kinds of I keep wanting to say tiles, shingles. Those shingles are actually set on when oldie fashioned shingles are actually set. So what I may do is take a look at just that. I might have something as simple as a texture that I can just apply to it. Want something with very strong definition between the bits. Something like this might work. Let's see. Oh, but it's got very low texture there because I did the optimization thing where called Dynamesh, or sorry, called Decimation Master. That's the one. So I could go through and add more polygons to this so that I can then do that thing, or I go back to the other idea, which is the much simpler version. I'm just going to duplicate this chunk of wood, move it down. I can't do this too much because, you know, this scene already has 15 million polygons in it, and it can only handle so many, Captain. Yeah, that works well enough. Just gonna kind of pick an arbitrary line like right there. Ooh, actually, I take that back. I've already got a pretty decent sort of overlap thing happening. I can just clean this up to make it look more deliberate. You know, it really comes down to how does this read from back here? You know, that's that's what you always have to keep in mind with these things. Okay, so then I think with that established, I can continue my what would this be called? I don't know what these are called, because it's like, it's a kind of roofing tiles, but they're specifically made for the peaks. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Turn off the stuff I don't need. Okay, I have turned off all the stuff I can turn off at this point. Yeah, and I was experimenting with basically drawing these things on in a string, like you can imagine a string of beads. Zbrush has the ability to do that, but I ended up having to go in and fiddle with each one to get it exactly perfect, and it came out to be like, either way, I have to come in and do this, so now I'm just starting. I just draw it on, and then I fiddle, 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 and then I draw the next one. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. This is actually making me wonder. Stop. Yes. I wonder if I could make things a little more performant by making my document resolution less. Let's go down to half of this. then you should be able to just zoom into it. Yeah, it's a little chunkier, but it's not so chunky that I can't tell what's going on. And being able to move these quickly and responsibly is more valuable to me at this point than a high resolution. This is like to cover this like difference in topology, because you have to really exaggerate these shingles for 3D printing and miniatures in general, which makes if this was a normal like shingled surface, it would be practically flat, and this would be very easy to do. But because these are exaggerated, I have to exaggerate the sizes of these and get into this really finicky mode of like, oh, gotta cover this and then that. And I could also like squash these down a little bit as needed to sort of tuck them in, but there's only so much of that you can get away with, really. This little bit, I'm just gonna tuck that into the wood. After I make these higher resolution, I'm gonna add all the little, dings and scratches, and I'll also be pulling them out a bit. But for now, let's see if we can. Oh, right. And I was putting them all in the same prop, so I have to, let's see. I'm going to do auto groups. So that makes each of these separate, meaning that I can go in and select just one by tapping on it, and then I could go back to moving them individually. But the important thing also is then I can work on the roof while these are masked off. So that allows me to do this sort of thing. I just like tuck, tuck, a little nip and tuck. Don't like it when I'm up close, but from a distance, no one will notice. I mean, assuming you guys don't tell anyone. I won't tell if you don't tell. Don't ask, don't tell. What is going on there? Oh, this is probably a separate. Uh-oh. What did I do? Click. No. Do not know why it's doing that. But I managed to fix the problem anyway, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay. So that works. And then I think on the overhangs, I just leave them sort of greebly like that. I'm guessing that this particular part is the old roof, the like low polygon roof. Oops. Is that true? It is true. Okay. Something on it is masked for some reason. Why is it being weird? What is happening? Is it... Roof right 01. Yeah, I'm guessing it's attached to another part that is not visible, and I'm not sure why it's not visible, but I feel okay in just deleting it. It served its purpose, which was to be a platform to put these other, to put the final shingles on. I mean, with these 3D prints, you could get away with printing them pretty darn big before they start to break down. That's what I've found. Now, what is this guy? I think this is the other. Yeah, here's another one that's acting really weird. It's acting like my move tool is... you know what? I just don't care. I'm not going to figure it out. I'm just going to delete. Okay. What is this? Roof, shingles, bottom 01. Okay. I activated something with my move tool that made it weird, and I don't know what. What is doing this? Sticky mode? No, I don't think sticky mode is what I got going on. No. Okay. Is it transpose all selected subtools? Let's try that. Does that change anything? Whoa! Does not. Okay. What is that and how do I fix it? I don't think it's in the brush menu. Yeah, when these programs get this complicated with this many systems, it's amazing how easily you can just sort of accidentally go into a weird mode, save and reopen. Yeah, I'd rather not because I have so many like subtools open that I'm swapping between, but you know, if I have to, I have to. It may come to that. Just trying to remember. Let's look at transform. Move. Gizmo 3D. Let's turn that off and see if this does the same thing. This is our old-fashioned gizmo, which is the worst, most bizarre thing ever. Okay, so that lets me move it in a healthy way. Also, looks like this is a big piece that I don't need. That's good. Okay, that takes the scene back down to just over 6 million polygons. That's a lot easier to deal with. Okay, so if I put my transform tool back to the, wait, won't let me. Let's see. Now will it let me? Now it lets me. Okay. So let's see if it's still doing this craziness. Let's use the chimney as an example. Nope, it's still like a weird weighted, like it's depending on where you put it, I assume. Like if I put it up here, it's gonna stretch it that way. Yeah. What is that? Why? Like I would expect it to be here because this is all about the gizmo, right? Visible symmetry center. Huh. These are options for adding modifiers to your thing. I don't, let's just see. If we put a bend arc on this, for example, and I mess around with these completely inscrutable runes that they put on here. Okay, so that rotates that way. Whee! Okay, I think everything's back where it was. And then, let's see, I go there. I say accept. Okay, no. Is it back? Nope, it still wants to be silly. It's not the home button. That moves it to 0, 0, 0. This moves it to the center point of your object. This resets it to XYZ coordinates. And this is just if you want to move it without moving the prop at all. Yeah, as far as I know, that is all the things. I've done all the things now. There are no other things to do. Maybe we are at the point where we have to save and reopen. Let's try one more thing real quick. I'm going to draw my roof peak. Doop. Okay. How are we doing? Okay. So it could have been doing this for a long time. It's just that these props are small enough that you don't notice the weird distortion as much. My fancy floppy tiles. But since I need to do more of these, I'm just going to keep going with these. And hopefully I will randomly reactivate normal mode before I need to move thing. Yeah, at that point, if it's still being silly, it's close and restart time. The coward's way out. Or the impatient person, or the person who has a deadline and just has to get a thing done and doesn't have time to actually learn why problems happen. That's the thing. It's like, it's almost like building up tech debt for yourself, right? The more often you get into a weird mode that you can't get out of and you just close and reopen, you're basically sacrificing opportunities to know why that happens next time. So you're building up more delays for yourself in the future if you don't take the time to figure it out then. Yeah, self-taught, although I've literally been using Zbrush since 2007, like right about the time it came out, and using it professionally at that, like, making video game assets. So I don't have much excuse. My biggest excuse is that I'm mostly in level editors all day, and so I only get to like go into ZBrush to make game assets occasionally. And so it's one of those things where you do it every couple months or every year, and you've pretty much forgotten everything and have to relearn it over and over and over again. Which, if that were the case, I'd be getting better and better. I would still be compounding those things. However, because ZBrush continually grows and changes over the years, I feel like I'm just never catching up. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to resolve what's gonna go on down here, because we've got a peak here and a peak here and a low spot in the middle. So at some point, these little ridges have to go from, you know, going that way to going that way. I guess I'm gonna have to make a cat dog one in the middle. I keep like scanning around for trying to see any button that has been pressed that I don't normally have pressed. That is just such a weird mode to be in. And like if you hit, let me see, transform, do I have, so I've got these. No, no, no. What about Gizmo? G for Gizmo. Nope. Bunch of grooming materials. Transpose. Man. What is this even called? This would be something like, I just kind of need to say it out loud to understand it. So this would be like ZBrush, transform, gizmo. Like it's feel like it's weighting vertices near it. I'll just try weighting. See if that helps. Focal shift. That sounds right. Let's see if Michael P comes to the rescue.
But again, so you can follow along. This is Pugh on your keyboard. Actually, WER, which is move, scale, and rotate, any of these three will just have the same functionality, because the gizmo, as you can see, can move, can scale, and can rotate.
Yep, yep, yep.
Now, how I'm moving that pivot is when I hold down Alt, you can see it's going to turn on that little unlock button right there, that little unlock icon. That means I can unlock the pivot, move it where I want to, and now I can go to the tip of the finger and then scale from the tip of the finger, or I can actually Alt tap on the object and it'll just take that surface normal and kind of just plant that pivot right there, or I can Alt drag and then hold down Shift and you can string it to the world axis, and then just go through here and fine tune this. So again, scale him from the elbow. So if we go over here to his palm and Alt tap on his palm and then scale him.
Gizmo focal shift. Look at this. Michael P is the man.
We're going to be using Gizmo for what we're going to be demonstrating here. So if I I take this focal shift and I start moving it up, and then again I'm going to alt tap on his palm over here.
Oh my God.
And we start scaling. You might notice it starts kind of getting a little bit of a bend once you leave negative.
Focal shift. I could totally see how I would accidentally do that, although focal shift is 0, according to this. What happens if I make it 100? Then it does nothing. Okay. God. I thought that would do it. I thought that was the answer, but maybe we'll get there.
100. And in fact, if we go even higher, you're going to start seeing it's scaling from this side of the body. Now, if we want to scale both hands on that local axis, what we can do is we can turn on LSIM, and that's going to take that local.
Good point. Negative 100. Yes. Good point. That is exactly the sort of wacky thing that would happen in Zbrush. Yes. Thank you, Sweetfast. Problem solved. Now, will I remember this next time? Probably not. I do have a document that I keep, and I'm gonna put this in it because it's easier to find if I put it in my own words on my own document, right? So I can put gizmo waiting slash focal shift for transform needs to be set to negative 100. If if tools become floppy, it's because focal shift is not negative 100. Okay, there we go. Tech debt paid down. Thank you for your assistance, everyone. What an exciting event this has been. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, so there's a shortcut in ZBrush. If you hold down spacebar, which sometimes I accidentally tap it while I'm doing something. So if I'm moving my mouse while holding this down and accidentally, like if I'm going that way, sometimes I can see how I would accidentally drag that, but it happens in like a fraction of a second, so I don't even notice. And then that's where you get into weird situations like that. So, oh, draw size is not the one, focal shift. Yeah, that would be my forensic analysis of how that came about. Okay, I think it's about time to cat dog this sucker. Wait, why did that not duplicate it? sure how similar the front and the back are, but I have a feeling they're pretty similar. So what I may try doing, come on, nothing selected, thank you. Go to, oh no, was I drew all these guys on the chimney object. That's gonna cause me a headache in the future. So let's do a, let's see, best way to do this would be Q, click on that, there we go. Split hidden, okay. Now these are their own subtool, which is fine. I want to make like all of these roof peak parts their own subtool anyway, but right now, these are attached to the roof piece. So let's unattach them. Oh wait, not that. Gotta go Q, and then Control Shift click. There we go. Control Shift drag creates the opposite of that. Okay, so now that one is gone. So some crazy math you have to do in your head to get this to work. Okay, so these are the ones visible. Now I can split hidden, and that will put the roof pieces back on their own thing. Now this is its own thing. And I also don't want this, so I'm going to split mask points. Or no, that's not what I wanted. Split hidden is what I wanted. Okay. Now with these guys, I may be able to simply do, we'll see. We'll see. It's definitely not the same, but we might be able to just massage it into place. I don't know if that's going to be easier or harder than just adding them by hand. But yeah, let's go to move so we can see which side. So we want to mirror this on the x-axis. So we've got a subtool master. Oh, that's good for that. Mirror on the X, make it a new subtool. Okay, there we go. That is definitely not the axis that I needed. So I think what happened then is that I did not reset this. Oh, look at that. That is the x-axis. Why was it not mirroring the right way? Mirror. Oh, because I read y as x. That's a good reason. Okay. And now what? And it appeared way the heck over there. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to go in and individually futz with them, so not even worth it. Just like that. Oh, and before I do this, need to get some wood involved. works. And then I can merge these two down. One thing I haven't spent enough time, this is another one of those like tech daddy issues, is like scene organization. They now have folders. I should be putting these into folders to easily like find these things. And it's hard to know when you reach that critical threshold, when the amount of complexity of your scene gets to the point where it's worth going through that sort of grooming backlog process. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've never had fun grooming the backlog. Speaking of which, now's a good time to save, isn't it? Okay, back to this bad boy. This sort of building where you're like clunking bits together and stuff, it's so frustrating for me because as you know, someone who's done mostly, well, I wouldn't say mostly at this point, but I have a long history of just traditional real world building, scratch building, dioramas and characters and stuff like that. You know, the process of manipulating these with your fingers and just like boop, 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 sticking them together, so much faster, easier, more intuitive than this, you know, grabbing a gizmo in just the right place. You know, you gotta make sure your cursor is on just the right pixel, and you gotta rotate the camera around to make sure, you know, you're seeing it. There's just like so many natural movements that happen in real life that make this a fast, pleasurable process that is not fast or pleasurable in this, which I suppose is a good argument for trying this out in VR. I know I have friends who do VR sculpting, and that doesn't appeal to me nearly as much as this kind of thing. So kit bash type activities seem like a lot better fit for VR. Assuming the finger tracking and all that kind of stuff is refined enough, of course. And that's a big if. I have a friend who worked at Magic Leap before that got shut down. That's like exactly what they were working on. And so it's kind of a bummer to see that get shut down because it's like, well, that's one of the main things that needs to be solved for VR to really become, you know, come into its own, be mass marketable. Yeah. So I've got to find a way to fill that gap and cover this area and cover that area. It's gonna be a challenge. I guess what I should probably do is make this just shorter. Oh, that skewed it funny. Is there not a... Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, put it in the center, but I thought there was a way to orient the gizmo to the original orientation of the prop, but there may not be. So close. If I just move all of these down, will that help? Maybe turning on perspective will help me gain a little perspective, if you will. Every time I'm like, yes, we got it, another thing crops up. Okay, I think we've fixed the gap problem. Shall deem that close enough. Look how pretty my rainbow roof is. It's beautiful. Let's put this and then okay, now we want to mirror it on the Y. Boop. Worked out more or less fine. One thing I'm trying to decide is if I want to do this little under roof here with the same tile, or yeah, CAD is built for skyscrapers and watches, not so much for wonky medieval village houses. And well, I guess you could argue this village house might actually be easier to build in CAD. Depends on how you're going to do it. But yeah, if you're doing like a creature or something, CAD is the worst. Something organic. Now, granted, the last time I missed with CAD was literally in the 90s, so I really shouldn't talk about CAD. Come to think of it. I have a degree in industrial design, and but I was always focused more on the like sculpting of more organic products and stuff like that. So, you know, I had to take a CAD class, and I hated it, and I knew I never wanted to do technical stuff. This counts as CAD? Well, I mean, CAD stands for computer aided drafting, or does it computer aided design? I'm not sure. I can't remember. I got my degree in 1996, you guys. I don't remember anything. Except an amazing story my automotive design teacher told us about when he was working on the original Ford Mustang. That the car, you know, the design group was broken up into different teams to focus on different parts of the car near the beginning of the project. And so there was a team on the dashboard, a team on the doors, a team on the hood, on the trunk, et cetera, et cetera. And every team prominently displayed the logo of the particular car, you know, the Mustang logo, because it was going to be their new premier awesome thing, right? And so they all put it on there, and then when all parts were assembled, the car had like 30 logos all over it. It's a pretty funny story if you're into nerdy design humor. A Subaru headlight guy. Nice. So am I mistaken in thinking, oh, I'm thinking specifically of AutoCAD, right? Which is a particular program by a particular company. That's the one that I learned, quote unquote, back in the 90s when I was on a very famous TV show, Ooh Wah Ooh. Learned that and 3D Studio before it was 3D Studio Max. It was basically 6 different modules that you would have to export your mesh from one to the other to do various operations to it. There was like a spline mode, a polygon. I can't remember if they had, polys, faces, verts, and edges all in one module, if you had to switch between them. I don't think so. I just remember it was incredibly painful to do almost anything. Of course, animation was its own thing. Inverse kinematics was like the big, hot, like trending technology. Can you imagine? You can just like pull on the end of a skeleton and it automatically figures out how to drag the ones behind it along with it. Those were good times. And I worked on a game in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was going to be a PlayStation 2 launch title, but it got canceled, sadly. But we were working on, by far, the biggest in real-time inverse kinematic skeleton, because we had this creature right here, the Oot, and she's stuck to a platform. And she could travel over really organic terrain. I was the art lead on that project, so I did a whole bunch of art for it and maquettes. Like, this was back in the video game industry when you could do whatever you wanted as your job. And it was just like, oh yeah, you could spend a couple weeks sculpting a concept instead of just like, kit bashing it in Zbrush, or, well, nowadays, typing description into Midjourney. Anyway, yeah, we had her hooked up, and she was walking over organic terrain, and it was amazing. Quadruped in real-time inverse kinematics. I don't think had been done before, so it was pretty awesome. This little scrappy studio that was known only for Descent 3 was able to pull that off. I also made a huge diorama for that too, because I wanted our terrain to look like realistic, right? So, oh, hold on, I have a, let's see. Right there, right above me. I built that diorama as concept art for the game. That's what we were trying to make the game look like, right? It did not end up looking like that, sadly. PlayStation 2 and their texture resolution limits, bananas. Like, even for its time, absolutely bananas. Because the Dreamcast was out at the time, the GameCube, both of them had like double or quadruple the size texture limits as the PlayStation 2. So it was very painful to try to make a realistic looking game on, especially like before any other games had come out at launch for PS2. We're just trying to figure it out as we went. Now, I do not know what to do about this part. How do I... Because if I tuck it under these shingles, then it's going to be really hard to pull it out the top of those. I could do a little sort of bump of extra shingles there. You know what? Actually, this is a pretty easy thing to try. Let me just try this real quick. If I just... Nope. That's not what I asked for. Oh, it is what I asked for, but I asked for the wrong thing. That's what I was looking for. Okay. I also don't know why that got all squashed. Did I try to smooth it from a... I probably smoothed it from the other side at some point. Yeah, you know what? I think this is gonna work. By golly, this might just work. While I'm adding shingles, might as well patch up this weird smooth spot. Okay. So let's... Oh, look at that. I was adding that to that. That's... I wish ZBrush... I just wish ZBrush, that's all. That's all I wish. No, wait, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to... No, I don't want to do that either. What am I looking... Oh, auto groups. I want to auto group. There we go. Okay, now I can select... Actually, I can just do this, right? Yeah, now I can split mask points. What? Wait. What do you mean? Have those selected. Split masked points. There we go. Okay, I must have accidentally hit group split. Okay, so these should be their own cropped now. And I could go in and dynamesh them. Boop. That's weird. Why did it do that? Q. The resolution needs to be higher. Oh, I think when I split mask points, it made a copy instead of cutting it into two different pieces. Okay. Yeah, so that still has that selected. All right, fine. I will go here. Nope, that's not gonna work either. I have to go here, there, there, there. Okay. Now I'm very confused. What is going on here? Gonna have to figure this out spatially. Okay, so move this down here, make sure everything is selected. Okay. Can I just do this and say, I think there's a delete masked. Isn't there? There's group mask. Masking. I feel like I have a shortcut button for it, but I can't see it. Is it under subtool? Delete other, delete all. Well, let's just do split unmask parts. Okay. So now this should only be these guys, which I do not want. So now we'll delete that. Then I gotta figure out what is this. Is this also its own thing that I do not want? Is additional ones, and I don't know why. Okay, well, delete those as well. Now, okay, select these guys. Now they're on their own? Yes, okay. I think we're getting places now. For some reason, there we go. What is going on? My cursor is being weird. I don't know why. Boop. Alright, I think they're gonna blend right in just fine. And we've resolved that, so let's move over here. Oh, actually, before I duplicate them, I might as well. Actually, how big are they? They're 100K. That's fine. I'm just gonna, or am I? Maybe I'm not merging them into the roof. I feel like I should. Yeah, and if I am going, then I am going to need to do this. So let's decimate them. That is where I can take them from 100K to 10 or 20K. Let's see if we can go as low as 10%. Literally decimate. Oh, wait. Actually, decimate means remove only 10%, not remove 90%, right? Either way, it looks like they still read just fine from up here. They fit in just so fine. So now I can mirror on the Y. It should appear right over there. Yep. New better tiles. Excellent. Hooray for new better tiles. Let's, and by tiles I mean shingles. Shingles are the tiles of the roof. It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna merge these down. Then I need to find the roof. Where's the roof? Is this the roof? No, this is another unneeded chunk of stuff. Yeah, this is where organizing the file would be advantageous. There it is, all the way at the bottom. Okay. There we go. One roof to rule them all. And let's go ahead and rename this because it's a pretty vital part. This is just straight up roof. That's all you need to know. It's just the roof. And it is not on fire. Okay. Oh man, and now I'm noticing that I'm gonna need to do possibly the same process over here. Well, let's see if this part wants to mirror. Okay, first of all, I guess it wouldn't hurt to stick these guys together. And double check our axis. X is where we want to mirror it. That's not a bad start. may have to do the same tile trick up here, but maybe not. I'm gonna see if I can get away with it like this, just by tucking these lower ones under. Liquid Nebula, hey, thanks for the raid. Right now we're working on a piece of Wargaming terrain. It's started as a very sort of roughed in thing like this. And I've been going through and adding all the fancy textures and stuff all over it, so that when it's done, it can be like all these other pieces, all nice and fancy. Fancy, fancy. That's what we're going for. Ooh. That almost just works. It's kind of like a Bethesda game. It just works. So now that I have them more or less in place, I need to go in and make them fancier, more betterer. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a, what am I going to do? I'm going to divide them, right? Yes. Divide. And it's going to tell me I can't, I feel like. And I'm going to say, why? Why can't you? No, it did. It's doing it. Okay. It's just not making it incredibly clear that it is. So here's how you tell. You just try to sculpt on it and see what resolution are those little dots. For some reason, it's not like smoothing out these lines like I'm expecting it to, and I'm not sure why. You know, it's not that it's hard to go in and hand smooth it out, but again, I would prefer to know why this is happening. To me, maybe a good idea is to just mask off the tiles that I would like to keep. Like so. And then as I scooch these around, I'm not distorting everything else. it looks like we're about at time, so if we can find someone cool to raid, let's do that. Let's go. If you're interested in fun art and design and other nerdy things like that, you should check out my YouTube channel. You should follow me on Instagram and all the other fun links that were just provided to you. And with that, I'll bid you a fire adieu. Bye, everyone. Bye.